When we get to the 11th Dead World, listen for me. I'll be the one making this sound.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello. We are here. Hi.
I got Tiny looking over my shoulder. Here we go.
Got Spock and Tiny.
I feel very watched.
Watched over. They're looking out for you.
Oh, okay.
They got your back.
Okay, that sounds good.
Tiny literally has your back.
Where's the rim shot?
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll give a little more volume on that. Yeah, it's better.
Oh, I should have took an allergy pill.
Oh.
It's okay. I'll power through.
Proper Saiyan attitude.
Yeah. I don't think Saiyans have to deal with allergies.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. Yeah. I don't think that ever comes up. You know, Goku sneezes every once in a while, but that's only because people are talking about him.
Yeah.
Goku, he's so irresponsible. Choo.
Choo.
Yeah, I hope I'm not coming down with a cold or something.
Your poor shirt. I need to make you a new one. That one's falling apart.
You did.
I'm sorry.
This is the first one. The second one.
No, that's the second one.
This is the second one?
Yeah, the first one I painted. That one I used vinyl. Anyway,
we're getting terribly lost in our own our stuff. Yeah.
So, today, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're getting old, Beth.
I know.
We're approaching middle age.
Mm-hmm.
We've been full-fledged adults for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that, we're looking at people younger than us and going, what the hell is wrong with these people?
Yeah, that's a normal getting older thing. You know, these damn kids and their hippity hoppity music and
well, not just that, but there's been several cultural shifts in the last couple of years.
Well, yeah.
That we've kind of touched on a few times before.
Yeah,
but
just very briefly, but we're going to go in depth a little bit today.
We're going to go in depth, and we're going to do our best at not getting up on our high horse or making ourselves sound too awesome and amazing. Because, and I'll preface all that. And to make ourselves seem like, oh, we're so amazing. None of what we have done is anything new.
Or spectacular.
Yeah, we didn't invent any of the ideas that you and I are about to lay out. We didn't invent those. These are old concepts. We are just students of the idea. And we have applied the ideas to our lives and benefited greatly from it. And we would like to take this time to encourage others, be you our age or younger than us or older than us, it's never too late to start living life well.
Mm-hmm.
And the road to living life well starts with taking responsibility for your life.
And I know that in today's, society, that word responsibility is a nasty word. It's nasty.
It's a 4-letter word.
Even though it's not. Yeah. It's a responsibility. Okay, boomer.
Yes.
And just so you know, when we have friends that are our age or just slightly younger that call us boomers because of the way we talk and stuff, and I'm like, that's not an insult. It's like we
go to bed at a reasonable hour. We talk slower than they do. We're not on TikTok.
Use English.
I try to use proper English, but the redneck sneaks out.
Yeah, but we're not using words that change. The slang that changes every 3 months.
Yeah.
It's like my friend will be texting me something and it's like, I have no idea what you just said. English,
actually,
please.
I'll plead guilty to that. I will plead guilty to that in using current phrases, current slang, a little bit at work with some of the guys.
Why, just so they can understand you?
Yeah. Especially the younger ones. Because they're on social media and this is how people are talking. When you say something is so fire, it's like, okay, I know what that means.
I don't.
Exceptional.
Okay. Thank you. I get it. Fire's 2 syllables, exceptional. It's much longer.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the way 20 years ago people used to say tight.
Yeah. You say that anymore, people look at you like, what?
Yeah. I mean, 20 years ago at the arcade, people, it was like, if you got really good, it's like, dude, that's hella tight.
Hella. Oh, the hellas.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the hellas. And I was okay with forgetting about the hellas.
Sorry.
Hellas and heckas. Oh,
Yeah.
man. But anyway, So
I'll plead guilty to using common slang, but that's so that I can communicate with the younger crowds.
But overall tonight, we're going to talk about the quote-unquote adulting and why it's really not that bad. I mean, It's like the social norm now is to hate being an adult because you have to have responsibility. Yes, that is true. But the responsibilities grant you the right to do many wonderful things.
Yeah. I mean, it's great being an adult. I can go to it's like the meme showed. It's like once you realize you don't need an excuse to go to get a birthday cake, is when you start
living. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I can go to a bakery and get 3 cakes and have the person behind the counter write on it breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I can then go home and eat all those cakes.
Granted, you'll have to suffer the repercussions of it.
Yeah, the weight gain and the possibility of diabetes,
and nausea, sickness.
Yeah. Do not sit down and eat an entire sheet cake in one sitting. It doesn't go well. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
I've heard stories.
Uh-huh.
That's something I've never been dumb enough to try. I mean, I've had cake for breakfast, but like a slice or 2. Mm-hmm. Never a whole cake on my own. It's like, no, even I have my limits.
Like that scene from Matilda.
Oh God, the fat kid.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, even when I was at my fattest, there was no way I was doing that. It's like even I have some limits, and my debauchery has some limits. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't doing it by choice.
No, he was being punished.
Yeah.
Which, like, at that point, that's child abuse.
Mm-hmm. That whole movie is child abuse. But anyway, something, like everyone's just, hating on adulting. It's like, yeah, it sucks. You have to pay bills. You have to go to work. You gotta
time and like pay attention.
Yeah. But people need to realize that this is everything your parents did. It's just your parents aren't doing it for you now. It's like they've done everything. It probably worked a hell of a lot harder than you ever will.
Yeah. I mean, the further back you go in history, daily life involved more manual labor. Mm-hmm. We have it the easiest anyone has ever had it in history.
And people are still complaining.
I mean,
that's too hard.
The fact that we live in it's like, living well requires crock-pot mentality when we live in a microwave world.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whole meals come out of the microwave. You just open package, put it in, and wait.
3-minute stops.
Yeah.
Whereas the crock-pot you put in the morning, by dinner it's finished.
Or, I mean, okay, you don't want microwave? DoorDash. It comes to your door. Done.
One time I was talking to my friend and I said something like that about the microwave mentality in a crockpot world with a microwave mentality. And she's like, I am not going to sit idly by and have you badmouth microwaves like this.
Hey, we are very much pro microwave. I like the microwave. It makes my coffee hot.
So we're not hating on microwaves.
No. It makes the coffee hot. It makes the popcorn. It makes the hot pockets.
I like the hot pockets. But
microwaves are a great tool. Just, don't base your life around it.
It's like, there's very few, this is an argument I had with her, very few things you can make in a microwave that isn't made better on a stovetop. And she came up with like maybe 2 things. A stovetop or an oven. And I think popcorn was one of them.
Microwave popcorn is pretty good.
And I can't remember what the other is, but I said that to her. I was like, yeah, well, that's like 2 things out of all of them. But
I'm struggling. What did she come up with?
I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
I'll
Anyway, we'll
have to pose a question to her and ask her again.
I mean, yeah, heating up your coffee is much more convenient in the microwave than putting it in a pot on the stove and waiting for it to heat back up.
Even with a gas stove, that takes
forever.
Yeah.
So microwaves do have their places, but
it's not a good basis for culture.
True.
And that's our point. And
yeah, we're not hating on microwaves.
We're not hating on microwaves. We are pro microwave.
Yeah.
We are more pro stove.
Yes, things are more delicious on the stove, but
yes. So adulting, it's work, but it's got its rewards.
Yeah.
Everything in life worth doing requires some effort,
right.
And that's the message we're trying to get. It's worth it.
I love having electricity, water,
sleep indoors,
a roof above my head,
clothes,
clothes,
all those nice things. Car. Yeah, it's nice.
It's like it's nice to have them, but they're not free. And if you want those things for free, then you're going to be sorely disappointed. And even if somebody gives it to you, you're still going to have to maintain it.
Yeah. Unless you want to live in Section 8 and rely on the government. Well, you could see how well they're handling everything. Yeah, Congress, they're known for their ability to handle money. Good luck with that. What's the national debt now?
Let's not even go there.
No, but that's just to illustrate. It's like they're more than willing to try and take care of you for the rest of your life, but you're going to have a miserable, barely scraped by existence. Go to a Section 8 neighborhood. They're not hard to spot.
And that's what we mean by living well. It's like, yeah, you can live scraping the bottom of the barrel, barely getting by, but
that's survival.
That's survival, exactly.
It's not thriving, it's surviving. There's a difference.
Big one.
And not to toot our horn too loudly, but I'd say we're thriving pretty well. Because we put in the work to get to improve our life, our standard of living. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could have stayed in an apartment.
Now we'd be totally screwed right now.
Yeah. I mean, we were renting what was that, like 850 square foot, 2-bedroom apartment. And rent 5 years ago was
$875, something like that.
$875, just as we were leaving.
And
it's probably close to $1,200 or $1,300 by now. It's on the outskirts of Old Town Clovis. Google Maps, you can find it. Nice neck of the woods.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, because rent's just getting too high. And like apartment complexes are not wanting to renew leases because they can't raise your rent if you have a lease.
That's one of their little loopholes that they use is if you're, once the lease expires and you're on a month-to-month basis, they can just raise your rent.
They can raise your rent every 6 months.
Yeah.
And when I worked at storage, for like 3 of the 4 years or whatever I was working at storage, we never did that. We never raised our prices until one regional manager came in and said, "You haven't done any price raises in a long time." It's like, were we supposed to? It's like every 6 months you're supposed to raise the rent. I was like, that's ridiculous. It's like, we're at 98% capacity. We're not going to lose half of our tenants because we're raising the rent every 6 months.
Yeah, you were at 98% when most of the others were struggling for like 80.
60 at best.
60 at best. Gee. Yeah, maybe you were onto something there, but good luck getting corporate to admit that.
Exactly. No, never. But anyway, back to the plot.
Back to the plot, that we are students of the idea. So our lives today, folks, are easier than our parents had it, easier than our grandparents, easier than your great-grandparents, because we don't have to go out and chop wood every morning to make fire to cook. I mean, that's the way Meemaw grew up.
Yeah.
And on the farm, if you needed water, you went to the well.
The well, or a pump.
They had to build the well, because when they first moved into the farmhouse, they had to go out to the spring. They had to drill a well by hand.
If you needed to go to the bathroom, you went outside, walked a good ways away, and then found the outhouse, which had no running water.
Nope.
And did your business.
Yep. It was a building about half the size of your average garden shed. So, 6 foot by 6 foot. It's a portalette.
It's
over a hole in the ground.
Yeah. That was your toilet.
Yep. And
you wanted a shower, you had to manually fill a reservoir that is above you. You want heat? Too bad.
Nope. Wasn't happening. So, she was born 1930. So that's not that long ago, folks.
She was born right in the midst of the Depression.
Yeah. My dad, shortly after, he was born in 1941. Small one-horse town on the banks of the Wabash River. He grew up at his parents rented.
Right in the middle of the wool.
In the wool, yes. And small town, Terre Haute, Indiana, that today is bustling with about 150,000 people. So you can imagine how small of a town that must have been 80 years ago. A little over 83 years ago. It was probably, I would say, maybe 50,000.
If.
Just making a guess there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, things now, even when we were kids, things are easier now than when we were kids, and that really wasn't that long ago.
If you wanted to change the channel yet, so one of you had to get up.
One of you had to get up. A color TV was a luxury.
Yeah.
I remember when we got our first color TV, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And they were
huge and heavy.
Tube TVs. My friend still has a tube TV. She calls it her TV with a butt. Because it's not a flat screen. And
it's CRT TVs, yeah.
And there was one.
The whole family shared it.
And the whole family shared it, and usually your dad controlled it. I know mine did. Drove me nuts. Because my dad has ADD. And he cannot stop flipping the channels in the middle of commercials. It's like, commercial will come on, he'll start channel surfing. It's like, Dad, I was watching that. It's like, it's a commercial. It's like, yeah, but you won't turn it back before the show comes on.
Yes, I will. And you never did.
You found something else that was happening then. So.
Yeah. But, so being able to just, I want to watch a thing. And boop, there it is. Stream it. Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll, whatever you've got. It's right there. So, yeah, life is easier than ever.
And people are still finding things wrong with it.
I grouse about it a little bit, but right now, some teenager's making more money on YouTube in a week than I do all year. Mm-hmm. As a mechanic.
It's like there's a meme out there.
What am I doing wrong in life?
They changed the rules. But there's a meme out there. It's the Joker from Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, sitting there with the Joker makeup, and he's wearing like a cardigan, just looking completely defeated into the mirror. It's like me getting ready to go to my 8-hour job, knowing that there's some girl on the internet getting millions of dollars by farting on camera.
Yeah, it's pretty much the way I feel most days.
Mm-hmm. It's hard.
Any mildly attractive woman with little to no self-control can go on OnlyFans and build up
self-control or self-respect.
Yeah. As long as you're okay with losing your self-respect, you can make some money on OnlyFans. So, that's on you. I gotta blow my nose. Sorry.
Okay. But I remember going off on a employee we had at the arcade way back when, and because he was a horn dog. If it had boobs and a vagina, he was like all over it. And I was working with him one night, and this was shortly after he put in his 2 weeks notice, and these bubbly girls come in giggling and acting like a bunch of dumbasses. And he's like, wow, look at them. I was like, yeah, they look like your type. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, they look dumb. He's like, oh, come on, Beth, don't be like that. And I like ended up going off on him about how, I'm here working because I have more self-respect than to just, dress like a whore and giggle and bat my eyes and get everything I want handed to me by some guy who can't control himself, drooling all over himself. And it's like, he was like genuinely shocked. He was like, and this guy like was training to be a police officer, and he was like shocked. Like,
I know what you're talking about too. Yeah.
And
he was kind of hard to rattle.
Yeah. So I ended up going off on him and storming off. And a little while later, he comes up to me and he's like, "I'm gonna miss you, Beth. Keep me rooted in reality." It's like, I don't think that's a good thing, dude.
I mean, it's not easy, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of my job at work.
But yeah, these girls who have no self-respect, who get by on their looks, your looks are fleeting.
Yeah.
It's like you're only going to get by on them for a while.
Yeah. And it takes its toll. And plus, also, you're going to have the rest of your life, those images are not going to go away.
Mm-mm. They're still going to be on the internet.
Yeah. For the next 60 years, it's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're able to find videos. One of the great examples, if you just search "ding fries are done,"
everyone will hate you around the holidays
because it is an incessant earworm and it will be stuck in everyone's head for weeks to come. I love it. But that video,
I think most people know of "Dean Fries Are Done" because they spoofed it on Family Guy, which is a passé thing now even. But yeah, if you don't know what it is, go look it up. It's
weirdly, a lot of people still watch Family Guy. You and I don't get it, but a lot of other people do.
Well, it's dumb humor.
Yeah, a lot of people like dumb humor.
Yeah, but anyway.
That's an example of the permanence of certain things on the internet.
Yeah, because that was around when we were kids.
Yeah. Long before YouTube. That was back when, dial-up and peer-to-peer file sharing.
It was even before then because I heard it on the radio.
I think you're right, yeah.
Listening to the
front row.
The front row, yeah. Listening to the radio, FM radio.
Late 90s.
On the way to school in the morning,
Yeah.
That's where I first heard it. And it's still on the internet today.
Back in,
and that was
junior high?
That was like 35 years ago. Well, not 35, maybe 30 years ago.
30 years, yeah.
But, yeah.
So when something gets onto the internet, there's a good chance it's there forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever.
You just got to dig a little bit. It's like it's always going to get overshadowed by the new thing, but it's going to stay there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so consider that if you're thinking about taking pictures of your butt and putting them online, remember "ding fries are done." Okay? It's been 30 years and it's still out there. So
say you don't want your kids going searching for porn and finding you.
Ooh, awkward. Yeah, that's gonna be awkward.
But anyway,
or telling your teenage daughter, there's no way you're going out of the house dressed in that. Oh, really, Mom?
Yeah, look what you did.
Your kid is gonna walk all over you on that one. So think twice before putting things online. That's a good adult tip. And Dave Ramsey, I love his teachings. Again, we didn't invent this.
Mm-mm.
We're students of the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And
for us, the idea has worked. There's some people that like to, badmouth Dave Ramsey because they didn't follow the plan like you're supposed to and they didn't get the results. But for us, we did follow the plan and we did get the results.
Yeah. But one thing he says is, children do what feels good. Adults devise and plan and do what's right.
Yeah, because you can't leave a kid to their own devices because if you do so, they're going to eat candy for dinner and then they're going to have a tummy ache.
Right. You wouldn't let a 6-year-old, even a very self-aware 6-year-old, you wouldn't let them write a grocery list.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were buying a car, you're not going to let your 7-year-old son decide what kind of car you're going to buy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because he's going to pick something fast.
Fast, reckless, expensive, and Batman.
Yeah, more than likely. I would have Batmobile. Woo! Either that or the Turtles van.
Yeah.
I mean, you can fit more people in it at least.
I mean, if you want to, see how responsible a child is with their decision making, ask them what they want to be for Halloween, and then ask them again tomorrow.
Yeah. Just, once a week, ask them what they want for Halloween costume. Yep.
It will change. But
so that is the difference between an adult and an overgrown child.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still making decisions based on what feels good in the moment, chances are your life is spinning out of control.
And you're going to be living in a ditch later.
You're going to be living in a van down by the river. That's another thing that's been on the internet for like 30 years.
Yeah, that was when we were very young.
That's classic SNL right there, man. That's second gen SNL. Chris Farley, David Spade, and
Kevin Nealon.
What's the girl? I always forget her name.
Which one?
David Spade's sister in that skit.
Oh, she was the guest star. That episode is the girl who played the sister on Married with Children.
Kelly Bundy?
Yeah, but that's her character name.
The other character name, yeah. Yeah.
But anyway.
But she did go on to do things, yeah. I just always forget her name.
Yeah.
But, so doing what feels good in the moment, sure, it feels good in the moment. Cake is delicious. But if you eat too much cake, it comes back to bite you.
Mm-hmm.
The responsible thing is meal prep.
Or just moderation.
Moderation, yeah. And I was building up to the analogy. It's like,
yeah. Sorry, allergy season.
Yeah. And yeah, the weather here has been wonky. It's been hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. So everyone with allergies is dying.
Yeah, and I should have taken an allergy pill before I came out here, but whatever.
Powering through.
Yeah, powering through, because that's the adult thing to do.
Yeah. Oops, accidentally.
Wrong button.
Wrong button. Figured it out, though. That if you look at the people who that decide what to eat on impulse versus the people who make a grocery list or go even further, meal prep, you could see a difference in their health.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You could see a difference. Even if, the guy who makes a grocery list or does meal prep isn't like super workout guy, there's a difference in health versus that guy and the guy who eats like drive-through like every day. It's like you could tell it takes a toll. Mm-hmm. And that's a great example of adulting versus not. I don't want to call it childish, but I'm struggling for another word.
Well, I remember when I first moved out of my mom's house and I was living with 2 roommates, and we learned fairly quickly that we ate a lot of Domino's because we all worked nights.
Yeah.
And Domino's was the only one who would deliver till midnight. So we ate a lot of Domino's, but we realized that was starting to cost a lot of money. And so we went to the grocery store and just willy-nilly bought things and realized we got like, $150 for this stuff here. And there's no real...
$150 worth got a lot of stuff.
But it was like, just willy-nilly, nothing was... And we'd go home and a lot of it would go to waste because we didn't have a plan for it. We just bought it because it looked good at the moment.
Yeah, never go to a grocery store hungry.
No, always eat something.
Eat a Snickers.
Go to the store, buy a Snickers, walk out, eat it, and then go back in and do your shopping.
I mean, if that's what it takes to avoid horrible impulse shopping, do it.
But yeah,
because otherwise you will end up with the most random assortment of stuff in your grocery cart, and you'll have no idea what to do with it when you get home.
Yeah, but it's an evolution. I had to learn over time, 1, how to make a grocery list, 1, and 2, how to make the grocery list last the longest. So now, I have the system that I do now. I, have a set number of
you're
dollars.
like expert level on it.
Yeah. X number of dollars I'm going to spend on groceries for 2 weeks, 2 weeks worth of groceries. So I'll sit there, and I've gone grocery shopping enough to where I pretty much know the prices in my head. And if I don't, I can look it up on my phone because we're in the age of technology. Go on the Walmart app and see what, the price actually is.
As much as I rail against technology, it is incredibly convenient to be able to do things like that.
Sometimes, yeah. So I make a grocery list, and I can, sit there and figure out, okay, I can use this, and this, and I'll write out the meals that I'm buying for. So that way I can, it cuts down at standing at the fridge. It's like, what can I make for dinner tonight?
Okay, so I'm going to come in with a question.
Uh-huh.
In making your list,
yeah,
do you decide what meals you're going to make first, or do you just kind of think what things are going to taste good and then try to think of meals that use that? It's like, I really want some meat. Ground beef?
Well, I usually try and buy some meat. It's either ground beef, chicken, or pork.
Yeah.
But really it has to do with what the price is of it and what's going to go furthest.
Yeah.
Like if I buy a $10 package of frozen chicken, I know I can get 3 meals out of that.
Okay.
And
I was just wondering, it's like, do you think, okay, I'm going to make chicky patties, and I'm going to make the crock-pot chicken, then I'm going to make this one. Do you decide the meals first and then make the grocery list from that?
Yeah, but it's a work in progress as you go along because you can get carried away. It's like making more complex meals that require more ingredients. It's like, okay, this is eating up too much of the budget. I usually try and put like $5 to $8 max for each meal.
Okay.
So it's like, tonight we had chili.
Yeah, we had Frito boats.
Yeah, 2 cans of chili, $2.50 each. That's $5.
There you go. Bag of Frito chips.
Yeah, Frito chips from the dollar store, and yeah, that's
sorry,
actually
not Fritos. Corn chips.
Yeah, they're corn chips. But yeah, it's just
cheese.
yeah, knowing what you can make with certain things. It's another thing you learn over time, and you might make a list and be like, okay, there's too many complex meals in here. I'll put some more simpler things in there, cross out and rewrite. And
yeah, like stuffed peppers uses up a lot of ingredients, or Beth's bomb enchiladas.
Yeah, that's why I don't make those very often because they use up a lot of ingredients.
But they're really good.
My brother named them bomb enchiladas.
Well,
they're probably like super, super white enchiladas, but
yeah, but
it's how I like them.
But he's still right. They're still good.
We'll see next time I go grocery shopping. But, I could spend,
If this video gets 10 likes, she's going to make enchiladas.
Okay. Lost my train of thought here. But for 2 weeks, I'll probably make the list for 12 meals because we usually eat out at least twice.
Yeah, at least
in a 2 week period.
Once or twice a week, yeah.
Yeah. And
we'll scooch on down and get some Taco Bell or some burgers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, the point I'm trying to make is it's something you learn over time. Because when I first moved out of my mom's house, we had no idea what we were doing. We were a bunch of kids, 20-year-olds, not living under our parents' roof anymore, trying to figure out how to do things on our own.
Leaving every light in the house on and cooling the neighborhood. That was me.
Yeah. But, just a little example here of trying to get it figured out when you first move out of your parents' house. I'm sure we've told this story on here before. It's something that happened to us when we were out grocery shopping, when we were,
Oh, the 2 college kids?
Yeah, there's 2 college boys.
It gets funnier every time, though.
Yeah, 2 college boys.
It's perfectly topical. Go for it.
And you could tell they had just moved out of their parents' house. They're totally greenhorns, And they're going down the soup aisle, and they're looking at soup. And one of them picks up a can, and he's like, there's no pop top on this can. The other one goes, yeah? It's like, well, how do you open it? The other one looks at him and goes, with a can opener, you dumbass. It's like this 20-something that never lived in a world where there wasn't a pop top on his soup. So he had no idea what a can opener was or how you open a can that doesn't have a pop top. But, it's something you learn. He didn't know that before. He knows that now because his friend humiliated him because of it.
Oh, man.
Uh-huh.
Life is going to eat that kid alive.
Well, I mean, as long as you learn. Yeah, moving out of your parents' house and, starting your whole adult life, you're not going to know everything.
No.
But you need to get to the point where you know to admit that you don't know everything and you have to be willing to learn.
It is a little like being back in middle school. Middle school is like the most awkward moment
Horrible.
in your youth years.
Because you're going through puberty.
You're going through puberty. Everyone else is going through puberty. And also, the structure of schooling changes.
Yeah, you go from one class all day long to one class every hour.
Right. It's very different. And there's different expectations. There's different patterns. Everyone's changing. And, you're not a child anymore, but you're not really a teenager yet. So you're in this weird nebulous area.
It's the awkward phase.
Yeah, it is the most awkward period in your youth years. And leaving the house, leaving the nest, being a young adult out on your own is kind of like doing that all over again because
it's completely new.
It's completely new.
And you have to learn to adapt.
Yeah. There's a whole new skill set.
Yeah.
And everyone around you is roughly the same age. Everyone wants to pretend they've got it together, and they're all lying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I told Elise when she got that age.
Mm.
It's like, everyone around you is going to be putting up a front. They're all going to try and look like they've got it figured out. None of them do.
And they're all probably very scared.
They're all thinking the exact same thing you are. I hope nobody thinks I look stupid. Every single person you see in the hallway is thinking the exact same thing. I hope I don't look stupid. And because of that, you end up doing something stupid because you've internalized this and you go down this vicious feedback. You go down this feedback loop of trying to not look stupid, and then you do something, and then you feel stupid, and then you do something else, and then you feel even more stupid. And then feedback loop from hell.
Then you learn something.
But then you learn something. You do start to get it together. And you start to enjoy the joys and benefits of adulting. I actually kind of wrote down I did have a coherent thought this last night when we talked about doing this episode. Being an adult is great. You get a wide array of personal freedoms and liberties to explore.
Mm-hmm.
You can now stay up all night. You can leave you've got an apartment. You can leave whenever. If you have a car, you can drive wherever, as long as you have gas on it.
Mm-hmm.
Taking care of your car, that's a symbol of adulthood. But these things do come at a cost. It's like, yes, you can buy, if you're 21, you can buy as much booze as you want, but you're not going to have any money left over for other things if you spend it all on booze.
And you will probably be very sick.
Yeah.
And in poor health.
Yeah. And as the guy who turned 21 first in my drinking circle, I became the guy that would go to the store. And I was the only guy with a job. So I ended up going to the store and buying booze for the group. So that didn't go so well.
But you learned, I'm not going to do that anymore.
You're right. After losing a good number of paychecks, I realized, holy crap, I got to go another whole 2 weeks on this. I've got like $50.
Yeah, it's like the people, even if you are an adult and you got a job, you're trying to do, the responsible thing. You move out of your parents' house. But you haven't learned you haven't learned that
the management skills.
Not so much the management skill. You haven't learned that your actions have repercussions yet.
No, for a lot of people, no. You're right.
Because this happens all the time. Even, not just 21-year-olds, like, 27, 28-year-olds, 30-year-olds. Some people never learn that I got paid. I'm going to go out and party. I got money. I'm going to spend it all. I have to survive another 2 weeks.
I've got $5.
I've got $5.
I got $5 for the next 2 weeks. Which means I'm going to a dollar store and I'm getting like a loaf of bread and 2 jars of peanut butter.
Exactly. Yep.
And that is.
I hope I have enough for a package of toilet paper.
Oh my God! Even top ramen's getting expensive.
Right? It used to be like 10 cents a pack. Now it's like 30 cents a pack, if not more.
Well, probably more than that.
We're not going to get into the inflation.
No, but I mean,
but
just like the prices of groceries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why management skills are more in personal finance. Management skills are more important than ever. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I really want to encourage you guys to try and learn these things. It's really not as hard as people try to make it sound. Because you got to remember, the people around you that say, oh, adulting's so hard and everything else,
they're losers. And they want to keep you a loser too.
Yeah, well, what it is it's junior high again, and these are the same people all over again complaining about how stupid school is and their teachers don't know anything.
And parents don't get them.
And their parents don't get them. It's that all over again. Mm-hmm. And so the people around you complaining about how hard adulting it is, guess what? If you're the first one to figure it out, they're going to think you're a genius.
Either that or they're going to think, oh, what, you're too good for us now?
Well, then the answer is yes.
See, a lot of people, it's young adults mostly, but some people always do it. They do it their whole lives, and it's really sad. If somebody never makes anything of themselves, they're going to try and keep as many other people in the same boat as them. They're going to try, if you try and do better for yourself, break a generational curse of poverty or something like that. Go out on a limb. Be the first person in your family to go to college, whatever. They're not going to like that the way they feel, the inadequacy they feel about themselves for having not done that. So they're going to try and pull you down to their level.
Yeah.
And
absolutely
try and discourage you as much as possible. Oh, what? You're too good for this family now? You're going to go to college and leave? And, who do you think you are? You think you can do that? Yeah. They will try every trick in the gaslighting book. Guilt.
Lots of guilt.
Yeah. To keep you where you are because it's comfortable for them.
Not only that, but your successes highlight their lack of success.
That's why they don't like you doing it. Because they feel bad about themselves because they didn't do what you're doing.
Right.
So
absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. But,
and
deciding you want to do something on your own is an adult thing to do. It's like you have a family tradition of this, that, or the other. You can make the decision to not do it. Yeah, you're going to get rash of shit from your family for it, but it's your decision.
Yeah. And it really, you hit something out there. I want to expand on that just a little bit. It can be done in one generation. Mm-hmm. It totally can be done in one generation. I've seen memes out there. You'll have a monster hitting hitting a slightly smaller monster, hitting a person, and then you'll have one person who's out there like this protecting a child playing. And that meme template has been used for a lot of different things, but that is the illustration of one person deciding to change a multi-generational curse or a set of behaviors, changing it in one generation. And it can be done. Mm-hmm. I have seen other people doing it. I mean, your grandparents, me, mom, papa. Papa grew up in a no-name coal mining town. Dirt floor poor, like pretty much literally dirt floor poor coal miner's son. And I would say they had done exceptionally well for themselves.
Yeah, because he pulled himself up and made good decisions.
Yeah.
Went into the military, learned discipline, learned responsibility. That's definitely something you learn in the military for 30 years.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I mean, similarly, my dad, he grew up, his parents didn't own anything. They rented a 2-room house that was built in like 1880. He remembers when he was very young, it actually did have an outhouse. Their heater was a cast iron stove. That was their source of heat. Good thing it was a small house. That was their only. It was what you cooked. Yeah, like something out of a cartoon.
Indiana, in the winter, snow.
Snow. Lots of it. It's right there by the Great Lakes. Lots of it. So that was their only source of heat. That was also where they cooked. So if in the summer it was hot, in the winter that was you got closer to the stove. And my dad's dad actually died when my dad was 6, and Grandma Tryon remarried.
Well, she remarried before your dad died, didn't he? Didn't they divorce first, and then he died, and
I don't know if they divorced or what, but
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, his dad was out of the picture. His stepdad raised him, basically.
Yeah, but he had a severe drinking problem. He had an anger problem and was physically abusive. And my dad, bless his heart, tried to break that and wasn't able to until later in life. But also I learned a lot about finances from him. When him and I reconciled later in life, I learned a lot from him. And he was a completely different person after that. So it can totally be done. And the way he interacted with my sister was a lot different than how he interacted with me at the same age. So it can be done, because both of his parents never really had much of any money in the entirety of their lives. Whereas my dad was go, go, go. He's probably where I get my workaholicness.
Definitely.
Because
it ain't from your mom.
Yeah. Because my dad was more than willing to put in literal 13, 14-hour days. And especially around when I was in junior high, I started working with him, we were out just working. And we were bringing in $3,000-$4,000 a month.
Just because you did the work.
Yeah, we went out there. And that was how it was. My dad was able to buy the van, buy the wagon, and then put an engine and transmission in both of them in 1 year. And that's a serious hunk of money when you start thinking about it. It's like, that's like $6,000. We spent $600 to buy the wagon. I think the van was $1,000, and then putting a transmission and engine in it, probably close to another $6,000 to do that, and then another $6,000 to put an engine and transmission in the wagon. All in 1 year. All of it cash, because my dad had never had a bank account. He never had a bank account or credit card or anything.
But he never had any debt either.
Well, other than student child support.
Child support, yeah.
That's a different subject.
We're not going to go down that
But
road.
I mean, because he did that work, we basically never cooked until later on. He had to slow down a little bit. Work dried up a little bit, so we ended up slowing down, so we ended up cooking. But there were months where we basically never cooked because we would just go out because we had the cash.
Oh, excuse me.
Because he was, so if you want to be able to go out all the time, that's what you got to do is work.
Yeah, it's like you can do that. Go out, enjoy the high life and everything. Just make sure you leave enough money you have enough money to do it, and leave enough money that, you got another 2 weeks at least.
Yeah.
Before you get more.
So that was, I was just trying to illustrate the picture of, that was where I learned that, because his money management skills were pretty good. He actually had a ledger, and he would keep track of all of his Fresno Bee customers in that, like an actual, before, because my dad never
Before spreadsheets.
Before Excel.
Microsoft Excel, you used a book with little squares in it that looked like the spreadsheets, and you wrote it in.
Yeah,
you couldn't adjust
god-awfully tedious.
Yeah, you couldn't adjust the columns like you might want to, or add borders, but it did the job it was meant to do.
And made sure you have plenty of whiteout on hand, because you will make mistakes. The old style, dip the brush. Yeah. And
I'm so old. I used to paint my nails with the whiteout.
Yeah.
Now they have that tape stuff. You can't do that with the tape.
No.
Yeah, the tape's easier to write on. Yeah, the whiteout would dry and it's all bumpy. You can't write on it.
No, it looked awful, but it kind of more or less worked. But the management skills, like my dad would always save his change, and would try to save his ones. So that's the idea of saving a reserve, having a reserve of money, and because that's how we got by. That was when the van needs an engine, thud. Here's $6,000 in ones.
I know you're not kidding. That's why it's so funny. Well, when he passed away, you got all of his stuff. And
I now have a good-sized cardboard box full of rolled pennies. That is one box of a couple.
At least he had the decency to roll them.
No, there's more that weren't.
Be like those people that have, the 5-gallon jar of water and they throw the money in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 5-gallon Culligan jugs. Yeah. And it's just full of coins. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, that's also getting back to, Dave Ramsey. That's something else he preaches is the emergency fund.
Definitely.
Having money that you do not touch except in the case of emergency, because shit happens.
Yeah. And a purse or shoes or some fashion item being on sale is not an emergency.
Or I just really want to go out to dinner tonight.
Not even close to being an emergency.
An emergency is your car broke down. Emergency is, oh crap, something broke.
Oh, my car needs a fuel pump. Ah!
Yeah.
That's an emergency.
Or the air conditioning in your house going out. That's an emergency.
Especially if you live somewhere where summer temperatures are
triple digits.
Triple digits, yeah. Regularly over 100, yeah, air conditioning is necessary, especially if you have small children.
Or something happens and you have a medical emergency.
Oh, God, yeah. Those are the worst.
Mm-hmm. It's a peace of mind because you're good.
You can do it.
You're good.
I mean, and to have a sense of accomplishment like this, most people cannot, I forget the actual percentage of it, but large swaths of society today cannot handle a $500 emergency without you whipping out the old MasterCard, going into debt.
Lots of debt,
whatever it is. $500 breaks them. They don't have that on hand.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the person that does, you are now richer than all your friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's got to feel pretty good. Because, and I'm trying to encourage again, because we're coming back to it's junior high all over again. It's awkward and it's clunky and you're trying to figure it out. And everyone's kind of racing to be the first one to figure things out, to have it together. The cool kid with it that has it together.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cool kid in the room.
Yeah, whereas, if you had your stuff together while you're in high school, you were considered a nerd. And this is how the nerds take their revenge. The jocks are broke with 10 kids because they couldn't keep it in their pants.
That's right.
It's like the beginning of Idiocracy.
Yeah, well, to all the people that, I was that nerd. I couldn't get the time of day from most women in high school, but you know what else I ain't got now? I ain't got no baby mama drama. I have one wife, one kid. I'm good. It's good. It's excellent. The kid's in bed.
Excuse me. But,
so, nerd revenge accomplished. But
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, the cool kid in the room is the kid that has things figured out. Like, you can ask them a question and they have a constructive answer. You're in a little bit of a pickle, they can try and help you. It's like, yeah, I've did that once before. Okay, here's what you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, that's the cool person that everyone kind of looks up to for, because they seem like they've got it together. They've got a little accomplishment behind them. And it's always nice to be that person.
Yeah, but it's always not nice to be that person that everyone comes to wanting to borrow money.
No, that's true. Yeah, that gets into boundaries. You got to have some boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries are really important, but...
Yeah. And
But that's something else that's learned over time.
Yeah.
So you're not going to go into adulting knowing everything that you need to know.
No.
You don't even go into being a senior citizen knowing everything you need to know. You don't even die knowing everything you need to know. You're supposed to learn your whole life.
Being a student of life means you learn your whole life through. Yes. Too true. Too true. But that person is seen, as trustworthy and responsible, and people look up to that person. And that's something a lot of people want, is respect. And this is something we've touched on before. A lot of things, everybody wants to feel respected. A little admiration, a little, wow, you're really neat. Oh, wow, I like you. I'm really proud of you for this. And so adulting up, getting your life in order in one way or another, learning to make a grocery list. Like, wow, this guy just always seems like he eats well. Or having your finances together, having, your rent's always paid, your PG&E is always paid, your car runs well, you just got it together. People will look up to you. People was really like, I want to hang out with you because you seem to know something that I need to know. And, you're the responsible, reliable person. Well, I want to be like that. So people look up to that, and that always feels good. And that's a real good feeling. Not the, ooh, look, cake. I'm happy for 5 minutes, and then I realize, I ate all that cake. I'm fat now.
And sick.
And sick.
Yeah, it's the delayed gratification.
Yeah, but also people start to look up to you the way you look up to your heroes. So a lot of our friends, they look up to us because we're that kind of, in some ways, we're that cool kid. They look up to...
We're not.
Hey, I'll take it, man. I was a dweeb through most of my childhood, so yeah, I'll take it. Better late than never. But they're trying to look up to me the same way I'm looking up to the people that came before, the ones that I learned, people I'm learning this from, the Zig Ziglars, the John Maxwells, the Dave Ramseys, the Paul Zekas, Jordan Peterson, all these people that I would consider much smarter than me.
And that's another thing about, living in the best time now, the easiest time is, before you would have to search out and find somebody to be a mentor to you. Now you could just find one on the internet and follow what they say. It's like the Jack Canfield was talking about, what was his name? The guy that ended up mentoring him.
Oof. Future me. Look that up.
Future, yeah. Put it right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna come to me when I'm not trying to think
Earl
about
Nightingale?
it.
No.
No. But yeah, it's gonna come to me later. But yeah, he didn't so much seek him out, but he had to find the real person and talk to him in person. So everything kind of aligned to where he was, able to work with him. But he had to work one-on-one with him. Whereas we can just go on the internet and it's like, oh, I heard about this dude. Let's look him up. Oh, he says this. So that's good advice,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the only reason I know who Earl Nightingale is because I can find digitized copies of his old LPs on YouTube. And
Excuse me.
A slightly obscure reference. If you ever saw the movie The Founder, the Ray Kroc story with
Michael Keaton.
God, I love him.
He's great.
Michael Keaton playing the role of Ray Kroc. The record he's playing in his hotel rooms talking about persistence, that's Earl Nightingale. That's a slightly obscure reference. Most people don't remember that movie, but I thought it was excellent.
That's bugging me now. Moment, please.
Okay. Well, I actually did find, or made, this is something I did actually make. So, but we'll see how I do here. I decided to try and define adulting. And I decided that it is a verb. Adulting, verb. The act of accepting responsibilities pursuant to a self-sufficient lifestyle. I'm sorry, responsibilities and or duties.
W. Clement Stone. W. Clement Stone.
W. Clement Stone. Clement or Clement?
Clement.
Clement.
Yes.
Stone.
Stone.
Okay. You found it.
Found it. So you don't have to put it in right here.
Get a round of applause for that.
I looked it up on the internet.
Internet's an amazing tool.
But I'm sorry, go ahead. What was your definition again?
Okay,
I was
adulting.
reading.
Verb. The act of accepting responsibilities and or duties pursuant to a self-sufficient lifestyle.
That's pretty good.
I'm running with it.
Yeah, it's like, it's not all going to be sunshine and roses. There are hard days. And, life loves to throw meteors at you
Yeah.
when you least expect it.
And we were kind of talking about that the other day. It's like when people wind up in really terrible life situations like homelessness or near to it, it's usually because of one of three things. How did we come to that?
I don't remember. But it was something that, I learned working at storage and, dealing with homeless people. There are people who choose to be homeless because they don't want the responsibility. They don't want to be any type of, upstanding member of society. And they don't want to pull themselves out of whatever addiction they put them there in the first place. And then there's the ones that are simply a victim of circumstance that probably could have been avoided had they had an emergency fund or something like that.
Economically displaced.
Yeah. So, but you could tell the difference between the two because the ones that are a victim of circumstance do not stay homeless long. They're trying to get back up, back on their feet and out of the storage unit.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones that, just want to stay addicted to drugs are the ones that are, lining our canals with tent cities.
Yeah. I guess we live in California and California's law tolerates that. Anyways. But yeah, I think that was like, we kind of came to, it's like people living in unfortunate situations either got there through a series of, I don't think there's few and far between that just like pull the Kurt Douglas of walking down, falling down. They just get out of their car and walk away and decide they're just going to like walk away from everything. And now they're homeless. That's a very like 1 in a million. But people that are in desperate situations usually wind up there for one of three categories. A series of self-destructive behaviors over time has eroded whatever lifestyle they had prior and led them to that moment. Or a series of well-intended but bad outcome. They meant well, but things just never seemed to work out because it was actually a really bad idea. And that has eroded their lifestyle and brought them to where they are now. Or sometimes it rains. Meteors fall out of the sky or lightning zaps you. Sometimes you just really are in the wrong place at the wrong time. And, it happens. It happens. You're going along life and everything's fine. And one day you get a cough and you go to your doctor, just pursue it. It's just a persistent illness. It seems to be getting worse. And you find out you have cancer. Like, how does that happen? I eat salad 3 days a week and go jogging twice a week.
Cancer don't care.
Cancer don't care. Or that scene in Clerks. He's changing the light bulb.
So I have a friend who used to eat glass for the circus. How did he die? From eating glass? Nah, hit by a bus. It's like, yeah, and my dad was a good example of that. Not last year, but the year before. He got a cold. Caught a cold from, another one of the grandkids. And because he never goes outside and doesn't take very good care of himself, he doesn't have much of an immune system. Turned into pneumonia. Had to go to the hospital. While in the hospital, had a heart attack. Had to look at his heart and realize he's got horrible heart damage. And for what started as a cold turned into open heart surgery.
Well, I wasn't trying to name any names, but
he doesn't listen to our show. I mean, he doesn't listen in real life either, but he doesn't.
Well, I wasn't thinking about your dad either. I was just being general.
But I was just trying to give it as an example. Sometimes shit happens, but my dad was well prepared for it, I guess, because they have lots of health insurance.
Thankfully. And really good insurance at that.
Yeah. But anyway.
Thankfully.
But yeah, and insurance, that's another thing.
Or, sticking with your dad, another example of you can be doing everything just fine, and then sometimes things happen. They were living pretty darn well, and then the barbecue exploded and burned their house down.
Completely down.
Thankfully, Jeanette was an adult about things, had the house was paid off.
Yeah, it was paid off.
And they had excellent insurance.
Mm-hmm. And now they have a brand new house that is way bigger and way nicer, and insurance paid for all of it.
Yeah.
Because she got the good insurance. So when we bought our house, we said, what insurance do you guys use?
Yeah, we're going to use that. Yeah. And we do use that company.
Yeah. We're not going to say, I was about to say, should we say who it is?
Yeah. Hey, we'll promote products we like.
Yeah.
We've been very happy with Farmers Insurance Company.
Yeah, they built them a brand new house, and while it was being built for a year, they paid their rent at an apartment.
Yeah.
So.
And I think they even gave them a per diem or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
A monthly stipend or something like that. So.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So even though tragedy hit, because they did the adult thing and got the insurance, it wasn't horribly devastating.
Yeah.
It didn't put them, out on the streets or anything like that.
Like if Jeanette had say, home insurance is a scam, and kept her mortgage around forever to try and get the tax write-off or whatever, and still owed money on it, it would have really been a tragic thing in their lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Although, well, no, I think in California, if you have a mortgage, you're required to have insurance. But if she had let it lapse or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, wasn't paying her bills, and then the barbecue explodes, it would have been a much worse situation.
Yeah, because that was something that, that was
Nobody
just
plans that.
It was a freak accident.
It really was.
Like that. Everything was fine.
That's why I was
nothing had changed from the other times they used that barbecue. It was just a freak accident. Meteors fell out.
A meteor fell out of the sky.
Yeah, so sometimes, freak accidents happen.
Just today's your day to get hit by a meteor.
Yeah.
You won the lottery. Congratulations.
The fire was so big it made the news.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Luckily, everyone made it out alive. It was my dad, my stepmom, and my stepsister, and I think her boyfriend were there. A little
bit of a full house.
All the people made it out alive.
She lost a few pets. Yeah.
Yeah, she lost a few pets, unfortunately. She had 2 huge tortoises.
Put a saddle on those things.
And obviously the tortoises can't run. And they are 200 pounds each. You couldn't pick them up and run with them. So unfortunately the tortoises died. And so did my stepsister's iguana. Because I guess she couldn't grab the tank, or she chose her dog over the iguana. And
well, the house went up fast too. I mean, it was kind of a small house, old, and when that thing went, it took out most of the house really fast.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so
fire spreads fast.
It does, especially when there's a lot of foliage. There's probably a lot of very combustible materials in that house. It was an old house.
Well, yeah, and the grill. It had that grill for a long time.
Yeah. and nothing had changed.
And used it often.
Often, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one day it decided to
explode, basically.
The line that went from the propane tank into the grill popped off and started shooting flames straight up into the awning and the tree and all the stuff that was above it. And that spread to the house.
It spread to the house quickly, and the first room you get into there was the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So, gas lines.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
a meteor fell out of the sky and landed on them and ruined their life, turned it upside down. But because they had adulted pretty hard, paid off the mortgage, and had great insurance, now we can laugh about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Their lives, were hard for a little while, but they didn't really need to skip a beat,
Yeah. Now it's kind of a fun story.
Yeah. But, getting insurance is something else that, Dave Ramsey talks about. And we follow Dave Ramsey, so we're probably going to talk about him a lot. And, he talks about things like that.
Live like no one else, so later you can live
like no one else.
I have that. It's up in the garage.
It is. But he says that, in order to stay out of debt, you have to get insurance, because you never know what's going to happen. That you could be the best driver in the world, but that person that's about to run into you ain't.
That's right. And chances are they do not have insurance.
Right.
California state law requires all motorway vehicles to have insurance. Approximately 1 in 4 cars on the road do not have insurance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and depending on which end of town you're on, those odds could be significantly higher.
Mm-hmm.
As you might imagine, as you get to the lower income bracket neighborhoods,
it's just a suggestion.
So, insurance is a suggestion. Probably 4 out of 5 cars you see in the Walmart parking lot down there on Kings Canyon Peach, probably 4 out of 5 do not have insurance. And if they crash into you, they're not stopping. They're taking off.
Mm-hmm.
Good chance of it.
Yeah.
So definitely have insurance. And we recently got life insurance, which is another good one. And the younger and fitter you are, the cheaper life insurance is. And to everyone's broke cousin that says, don't get life insurance because that's when you'll die.
Yeah, they're idiots.
They're idiots because, so if buying life insurance causes you to die, all these people who don't have life insurance are still alive? Oh, wait, they died too.
Because they didn't have life insurance.
Yeah, they didn't have life insurance, but they still died too. Because I guarantee you, at some point in your life, you will die.
Everyone does.
That's kind of life. It has 100% mortality rate.
It's like my grandpa recently passed away a couple months ago, and now
lots of life insurance.
He had lots of life insurance, and now my grandma doesn't have to worry about anything because he was the one that handled the finances. He was the one that handled the investments. He was the one that had all the
and they paid
military stuff, and they paid off their house
ages ago.
I think they paid off the car too, but
considering you bought it used, you probably paid cash.
Yeah, but not all of it.
Not all of it.
So but because my grandpa had his life insurance and his military benefits, my grandma doesn't have to worry about money at all.
Yeah.
Now she's got my mom to take care of that for her. Who, I love my mom and all, but I wouldn't want her taking care of my finances considering she's in debt up to her eyeballs herself.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
There are some lessons some people just do not learn. So a lot of people believe what, Dave Ramsey calls the lie, that you have to have a credit score to get anything. You have to be in debt in order to get your good credit. That isn't true.
It's not true at all. And we lived that.
We are proof of that, yes.
We are proof of that. And that brings up this bad boy. This piece of our history that Beth made.
You can tell.
Well, this is how simple an idea of adulting is. This is exactly it. The accepting of responsibilities and or duties pursuant to a self-sufficient lifestyle or a worthwhile goal. I'll make it that. I'll write that down.
Or a worthwhile goal that you're willing to work towards. So when we lived in an apartment, we decided we want to buy our own home, but we knew we needed a down payment.
Yeah. Well, and we wanted to. Well, going back a little bit further than that, and we decided that we were going to have all of our debts paid before having a kid.
Mm-hmm. And we did.
We did. We paid all of that off. We finished all of our debts in 2015, and then in 2016, Lily arrived.
Hey.
Yes. And by the time she was 2, she was a hyperactive super monkey, running and climbing as best she could in our small apartment. So it's like, we need a house.
Mm-hmm. With a yard.
Well, we had wanted a house.
We did, but we decided, okay, this is the time.
Yeah.
And it's something that Dave Ramsey, talks about in his preachings is you could, take out a loan, or a really, really huge loan, or you could take the money you would have paid into that loan and put it in savings for a certain amount of time till you reached a certain goal. Makes it a little easier.
It does.
And that's what we did.
Yeah. The baby steps work, people. The baby steps work.
You just got to do them.
You just got to do them. And
the baby steps is what Dave Ramsey calls his plan.
Yeah. Step 1, put together a $500 to $1,000 emergency fund. Just $500.
We're not going to go through all the steps right now,
No.
but getting back to this.
Yeah. So we needed a house. We decided we needed a house. It was time.
Yeah. Plus our rent kept going up.
And plus our rent was going up. So we put together a plan. We were completely out of debt. So our FICO score was 0. That's right.
But we had a lot of money in our savings accounts.
That's right. So starting in February 10th of 2017, we started saving cash. And every month, and every time I got a bonus at my work, because I just started killing it.
Yeah, every time you got a bonus, every time we got a tax return,
yep,
everything went into savings.
Every spare penny, nickel, and dime, and I would update it every month.
This was hanging in our kitchen, and it had a little marker attached to it so we can color it in.
It was fun.
It was fun, yeah. You got so excited when you got to color in some more lines. It was adorable.
I put $500 in the savings account. I'm making a line.
Yeah.
And so by February, so we started February of 17, and by February of 18,
it's
1 year.
10,000 was our goal, but we surpassed that a little bit. So 1 year of saving.
Well, we wanted 20 because to get a decent loan, you had to have a 3% down minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And the houses we were looking at, it's so if we have 20,000 down, we could probably get that and maybe avoid the mortgage loan insurance. Because we had heard of that and we were kind of worried about it.
It really wasn't all that much.
No, really, it was $20.
Yeah, not that bad.
So mortgage loan insurance, it's not even going to matter. It's not going to matter. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter to us. And so when we finally got 12 and we kind of got house fever because when we hit 10, we were started zipping around Zillow and Redfin. So we started looking around, shopping, and we got a little bit of house fever, but then we found the right one and we made it happen because we had cash on hand.
Mm-hmm. I remember when we went to the bank because before you can go talk to any realtor, you have to have an acceptance letter from the bank saying they are willing to loan you X amount of dollars.
The pre-approval letter.
Yes, the pre-approval letter. And we went to talk to the girl at our bank. You can put that back.
Yeah.
And we told her that we don't have any credit cards. We closed them down. She goes, "Oh, that's not good. You probably should have at least just kept one open." And she sent all our paperwork off to the bank, and it came back that we were approved for,
$170,000
loan. And it's yeah. What about keeping that open?
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't rub it in her face.
No,
but she was
no,
really
but
sweet.
she was very sweet. She helped
I
us.
saw her roll up a few weeks ago. She's still there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. She's probably a manager by now.
I think so.
Excuse me.
And she's still sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, she helped us a lot. And, but
I mean, that's the big lie.
Yeah, it does take a little bit more effort because the bank, we had to send the bank like bills we had paid, our, rent checks, our AT&T bill, our PG&E bill. We had to send them proof that we will pay our bills and we will do it on time.
And there is a name for that process. It's called
manual underwriting.
Yes. It's exactly the same. We synchronized.
I know that's what's up.
And it's exactly the same process that, if the first time you're getting an apartment, that's the process they use. They want to know.
You don't have any credit.
Yeah, you don't have any history at all.
Yeah.
So they need to know, do you have a job? Do you have some income? Any references? Can they trust you? Can they trust you to pay the rent every month? So they have to go through a manual underwriting process because there's no history. So same with buying a house with zero credit. They just you make the bank do a little bit extra work. But
I had to do a little extra work because I had to send them all that stuff.
Yeah. So it's extra work, but it's worth it.
Yeah, because now you still don't have credit card debt and a mortgage debt and above your head.
Yeah. I mean, and
since we got this mortgage, our credit score is amazing now.
Yeah.
We have a great credit score. Don't call us for money.
Yeah, I ain't getting any.
Because we always pay our mortgage on time. Because we have a budget. That's another part of adulting, budgeting. Budgeting and sticking to it.
Yeah.
And that's something else, some people never
factor in life.
And some people never learn it. My dad can't budget for shit. And he has openly admitted that. And this is something we were talking about yesterday. It's like there's so many things that are so important to life that they don't teach you in school. And I know a lot of people have said that, and there's a lot of memes out there for it.
But it's true.
It's true. What they should be teaching you in school is how to budget, how to balance a checkbook, how to do your taxes, how to change a tire, how to tie a tie, how to cook. Well, they do that. That's called a home economics. But
Roosevelt didn't have it.
Oh.
I was looking forward to taking that because when through high school, I was doing most of the cooking at home. So I was looking forward to it. It wasn't there.
Well, I didn't take it in high school. I took it in junior high.
Junior high didn't have it either. Yeah, so I got shortchanged on that one. In fact, when I graduated Roosevelt, that was the last year my junior year was the last year they had automotive classes.
Oh man, yeah, they had gotten rid of those at Hoover before I started going there.
Yeah, all the trade classes
got replaced by computer classes.
Well, at least that's at least that's useful. Roosevelt replaced them with art classes.
Yeah, that's not useful at all.
No. The world needs more artists. Okay, next one, when your toilet breaks, call an artist. See how that works out.
Yeah. When your car breaks down, see if that artist can paint you a new one.
Yeah. Damn, the electricity in my house doesn't work. Better call an artist.
But those are things that a lot of people don't learn because they don't always have somebody to teach them who know them themselves. Like my dad wouldn't be able to teach me and my brother how to budget, and he's openly admitted that. But my mom did. My mom, when I was still living at home, I'd gotten my first job. My mom sat me down and taught me how to budget. And then later on, she did the same thing for my brother. But if you don't have somebody who knows well enough to teach you,
where are you going to learn? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but we do live in the digital age. We can look up who Jack Canfield's mentor was. Yeah. So I'm sure. Okay, we're going to beat this to death. Dave Ramsey, the Every Dollar app. If you don't know how to budget, there's apps out there. The Every Dollar app is probably pretty good. kind of crap at using apps. I prefer notepads, obviously. So that's my tool of choice. If you're a digital person, you're more technology inclined than I am, and that's not saying much, but if that works for you, it's there. That tool is there. You have that option.
But yeah, I mean, we should probably start wrapping this up, but is there any more points you wanted to make?
Yeah, mental health. And this is a big one.
Especially now.
Especially now, because we as a society have more people going to therapy, have more people going to see a psychologist, and have more mood regulation drugs available than any time in history.
Yeah, but most of the people that are taking them don't really need them.
That's true. And they take them because they feel like their life is out of control. And a large part of that is they haven't learned to control their life. Their life is happening to them. They are not happening to life.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way of putting it, yeah. Because, I got anxiety. And somebody at work said something insensitive. I gotta go cry now.
Oh, muscle up, Buttercup.
We never had safe areas at school. You can tell.
Yeah.
Safe zones or whatever.
Our generation just had to deal with being bullied. You just learned how to swing back.
I was never bullied, but I mean, I didn't cry over everything either.
You just learn to cope. You find ways of coping.
And that might, piss off some snowflakes, but whatever.
So go cry, emo.
And go cry, emo kid. But and mental health.
Bringing one from the vaults there.
Mental health is important. It is important if you have a serious, a real mental problem.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's just people trying to wuss out of life and find an excuse to do it.
I mean, I heard a statistic the other day. I don't remember. I don't know how true it is, and I'm struggling to remember because I didn't look this up on my own. So asterisks abound that approximately 3 persons in 10 are probably on national average. That if you took the number of people that are on some sort of SSRI, and as a percentage of the total population in America, so all people in America, all persons in my national average, it's 3 persons out of 10.
What?
Are on a antidepressant of some sort. And it's geez, that many? And it's okay, there are some persons that have a genuine chemical imbalance. Their brain is lacking a hormone or protein, whatever it is, and that causes they can't function correctly. They have a neurological divergence. I get that. But there's no way you can convince me that a full 1/3 of our nation has that problem. It's not comprehensible to me. Because we live in
like we said, we're in the easiest time there ever was to live.
Not only that, but just think about the staggering number. Fresno County is 1 million people strong. 300,000 people have that problem? I don't buy it. If you tell me 1,000 people out of that 1 million, okay, I can buy, maybe. But 300,000, I don't buy it. I'm willing to bet a lot of these people, life is happening to them. They are not happening to life. And that has caused them to have the symptoms of depression, anxiety, some existential dread.
They can't hold on.
They feel like they can't hold on because they're just along for the ride.
Yeah.
So adulting, taking control of your life, will alleviate those symptoms. And you'll probably find you don't need those.
John Maxwell called that intentional living.
I couldn't think of a better response, but well said.
Yeah. You holding the reins rather than holding on for dear life is completely different.
And at the risk of sounding a boomer, this is one big, pull yourself up by your bootstraps speech, but it works.
We're fine.
We're fine. We drank from the fire. We drank from garden hoses. We rode in pickup trucks. We got bullied in school.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but we survived.
Great, but we survived, and life goes on. So, but we learned to, we've taken control of our lives, and it's not always great. It's not always easy. It requires a lot of work, but anything worth doing in life, anything worth having in life is going to require work.
And you're living, you need to be living for a reason. And even if that reason is to learn lessons, then you need to be willing to learn them. And, getting back to, the antidepressants and everyone's crying and full of anxiety now. They just want life to be too easy.
Yeah.
But when life is too easy, you don't learn anything.
Oh.
It's like, getting back to what we talked to before, making the grocery list. That happened. I learned how to do that because life wasn't easy when I just bought stuff willy-nilly and wasted a bunch of money.
Okay. We're gonna expand on that one before we wrap up.
Okay.
But we can really sum it up pretty dang easily. Life's not fair.
No one said life was fair.
That's right. And it's been said.
I tell that to Lily all the time. It's like, she doesn't say that's not fair or anything like that, but she'll be watching something on TV. That's not, this is fair. That's not fair. And I just tell her, Lily, life's not fair. Anyone who says different is selling something.
Dread Pirate Roberts freaking nailed it. He did.
Life is pain, Your Highness. Anyone who says different is selling something.
It's been said in so many different ways. I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and they were talking about it, and I was just like screaming in my head, that's exactly what Wesley Dread Pirate Roberts said. Because they were talking about the grind, the existential dread, the pain of going through life, that life is suffering. You have, all the way back to Plato and Nietzsche and Hemingway and all these people who went through terrible things and became philosophers later in their lives. That's the thing that keeps coming back to the pain of living.
But it's kind of a take it or leave it, because you are going to have to suffer sometime in your life. It's gonna happen. So you can either ride the easy train and not suffer now, and then later on you have no idea when that easy train stops and isn't taking any more passengers, and you have no idea how to live when you're like 60 or something and can't get a job.
Yeah.
That's going to be very, very hard. Whereas right now, you work hard, you budget, you think about things, you plan ahead, you make goals. That's a little bit harder now, but later on, you're setting the groundwork for later on when things get easier.
Yeah. Mama and Papa busted their humps to make their life the way it is now.
Yeah.
But it worked. I mean, it was not easy. I tease your mom sometimes. I could feel her trying to end my life by staring at me when I bring up the sawdust.
Oh yeah, when they had to mix sawdust in with the soil because it was hardpan. But lots of bad memories for my mom.
But now it's a beautiful lawn.
It's a beautiful lawn. It's a beautiful house, and they got fruit trees and all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
We had so much fun in that backyard growing up.
So, I mean, that's, work, reward. And a lot of people want the reward without doing the work.
Yeah, my grandpa retired because he was in the military for 30 years. Yeah, and then after that, he worked at the hospital.
Yeah.
That's where he retired from. And it was probably 35 years ago because I was very young. I remember like him bringing home his retirement gifts and things like that from his retirement party. Like,
you were like 6, 7?
Yes. Yeah. So probably 5 or 6. So yeah, 35 years, the past 35 years of his life, he didn't have to work because he was smart. He had a retirement plan. He made investments. He was always in control of his money. He had his insurance.
They took a lot of trips.
They took all kinds of trips.
They went to Israel.
They went to Israel. always going to Pismo. They were going on cruises.
Going to Pismo and haggling over dining room tables.
So proud of that. But
That's
you know,
epic.
my cousins live in Florida. They went to Florida on a regular basis to visit them, and my aunt and my uncle. And
We were going through some of Papa's effects, and to underscore taking trips, one of the things I found in there was a small collection of rocks, and I couldn't read his handwriting. I mean,
he had picked them up on their trip to the Holy Lands.
yeah, it was rocks that each one of them had something written on it, and I couldn't read it because it's Sharpie on rock.
Mm-hmm.
But he had this collection of rocks of all the different places they had gone on that trip.
Yeah, they also came back with a little vial of water from the Dead Sea.
Epic.
So yeah, they traveled all over the place, and they didn't live like a lot of elderly people are living now, where they have Social Security as all they have. They're on a very small fixed income. They're in a small, probably, not that great apartment or house, and they're not doing anything. They're just running out the clock.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we know a number of them like that.
And that's why, like, everyone's saying that, the retirement age is getting pushed back is because people can't afford to retire at 65 anymore.
No. Well, that and Congress's great abilities to handle money, the retirement money that's supposed to be there, the Social Security income, the government is pushing that age back to be able to apply for retirement because there's no money. Mm-hmm. Congress spent it all.
Well, I mean, this is something that's been a long time coming. I remember them telling us that in high school.
Yeah.
20 years ago, they're like, they were telling us you need to plan ahead now because by the time you're an adult, Social Security is not going to be there anymore.
Yeah. Well,
and they were right.
They're right.
Yeah.
We were actually kind of joking about that. It's like the first person to actually admit that you can't retire comfortably on Social Security. You'll never guess who it was. FDR. Literally the guy who signed it into law straight said that without private investment, one cannot retire comfortably on the government stipend. Look it up. Great New Deal. 1932. FDR signed that into law, and he knew it wouldn't work. Bought a lot of votes, though.
Yeah. But anyway, we need to wrap this up. It's getting late. But
it is. But I wanted to expand on that yes, Dread Pirate Roberts was right.
Mm-hmm. But, adulting, it's not easy.
But it's worth it.
But it's worth it. Yeah. There's a lot of things out there that, that aren't easy. If it's too easy, you need to be wary because something really bad's about to happen.
Yeah. Another great illustration of that, if it sounds too good to be true,
it is
too good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true at all.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies, Muppet Treasure Island. And they're sending all the pirates onto shore and everything like that. And so John's just like, wow, they're really giving it to us on a silver platter, aren't they? They are.
Never trust a silver platter. Then
yes,
that's when they took a hostage.
Yeah. Took Jim Hawkins hostage.
Yeah, never trust a silver platter.
Tim Curry.
He's amazing. Totally amazing.
Yes. Huzzah.
Huzzah. Fellow Muppet. But anyway, so
the greatest Muppet.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's, ho-humming, adulting sucks, I have to do stuff, but, if you don't do it, you're really going to wish you had later on. And
oh my God.
Just a real quick story here, to wrap this up. I was talking to Lily's therapist the other day, and we were talking about people like that who can't grow up. They live off their parents till they're, way too old. And she said she knew somebody, I don't know if it was like, an uncle or a cousin or a friend of the family or something like that. But he had lived with his dad, or his mom and dad, or his dad once his mom passed away, his entire life. He was 60 and he had never had a job. Because he lived with his dad. He lived off of his dad until his 60s. And I said to her, I was like, what's he going to do when his dad dies? He's too old to get a job. No one's going to give him a job.
His dad's probably 80 or 90.
Yeah. And he's not going to know how to live.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's he going to do?
I mean, there's the joke about being a greeter at Walmart, but what else options does he have?
Right. Having never had a job in your life and you're 60? It's like I said, if things are going too well, things are going to come crashing down really hard at some point, because when his dad dies, he's probably going to go out on the streets because he can't get a job, can't pay the bills, can't function. So
you can either have the pain of effort or the pain of regret.
That's a very good saying. Let's end on that.
Okay. I probably read that somewhere. In a book.
In a book. Read books. They're awesome. If you can.
Yes. Collect them. Just even collecting them is fun.
Yeah.
I plan to build shelves here. Put some books on shelves. It'll make me look smarter.
Put the encyclopedias there.
I wasn't supposed to laugh. I actually do have a set of encyclopedias.
I know you do. And that's why I said put them there. Anyway, so yeah, adulting.
On that Monty Python reference, we'll wrap up.
Yeah, adulting. We recommend it.
Yes.
It's really not as hard as people make it out to be, because once you get a system in place, it takes care of itself. And you can go off and do other things. Just takes a little bit of time, maybe once a week, once 2 weeks, get everything figured out.
Starting's the hardest part. After that, you get a little momentum and it gets easier.
It gets easier.
Yeah. But that's true with anything in life.
Yeah.
The hardest part is getting started.
That first step is the hardest part of all.
Yeah. And don't get wrapped
up in the paralysis of analysis either. It's not going to be perfect. You just need to start.
Okay, and a few quick tools you can use. Notebooks, available at the dollar store. Every dollar app, it's free. I use a whiteboard. It's on the fridge. I got that at the dollar store. I wrote a dry erase marker, made a little grid. I wrote it on the bill.
Who made the grid?
You made the grid. Well, I made one, and then you made a better one.
Thank you.
But made that, and
we track our bills.
Track the bills. And, it's like water bill. And I know approximately how much it's going to be, and I know exactly when it's going to be, and whether or not I've paid it. Little tick mark. Mortgage, water bill, PG&E, car insurance, life insurance. You just write those down.
Everything,
Yeah. Available at the Dollar Tree. It's $1.25. Go get one. Notebook, $1.25. Go. You use the little pocket accordion folders.
Yeah, but that also, I've been using that for years, and I later found out that Dave Ramsey calls that the envelope system. So you don't even need to get one of those package of envelopes, right? What it is, and they put the money in there, forget about it. But yeah, I used a coupon organizer.
Yeah, it worked.
I got it at the dollar store. Yeah, and it worked. I still use it. Or I would if it wasn't in my car, and I keep forgetting to bring it in.
Actually, we're planning a trip soon, so probably going to need that.
Yeah.
But another benefit of adulting, we're taking a trip soon. Yeah. And so on that, it's worth it, and it's easier than you think, and it can be done for a trip to the dollar store.
Or a free download on your app.
Go to the Google Play Store, download the app.
Go on YouTube, look up Dave Ramsey Baby Steps.
There you go. It's free. It's free.
As long as you have an internet connection, yeah.
You can find it public Wi-Fi.
There you go.
Or drive up to somebody's, find a restaurant.
Yeah. No, that's public Wi-Fi. Yeah. Go to library, go to a restaurant, free Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Just about everywhere. Yeah. So there you go. All right. And on that optimistic, ending on a high note, optimism, encouragement. We want you to succeed because it's fun.
It's fun and it's easy.
Yes. Come join the party, and we will see you next time.
Toodles.
Leave a like, subscribe, tell some friends. Yeah? Okay. Leave a comment. All right. See you next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.